We are live, and I'm actually going to go step outside right now. And here we go. Everyone, welcome to the stream. This is FuseMan, and I'm actually talking to you using Photon right now in this test scene. We've got Google Cardboard here working to mimic my movements and talk to you guys in real time. And this is basically kind of what we're going to be building this stream, is how to actually go ahead, mimic your the head rotations when you're building a social world, as well as the voice over IP. And that's all pretty easy to do actually using Photon, which is the networking library that we're going to be using that works with Unity. And someone mentioned in the chat, it also works in Unreal. So look forward to that. And before we get started, I also wanted to talk and start a little conversation, probably in the chat, about like how to make social VR a bit safer. So in the deep dive that I put a video out this week, I was building, I was playing around in AltSpace VR, and I noticed a lot of weird behavior. And with VR, it's a little weird in the sense that, like, because you feel immersed, some of the actions that happen to you feel like they're actually happening to your body. So wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that before we get started a little bit. But other than that, get excited and let me know what you guys want to see. And if you guys have any questions, just pop in the chat. We'll be looking. My partner Abdo, who helps me a lot with the 3D art side of things, should be in the chat as well. So if you guys have questions about that, or like anything on the art side of things as far as modeling is concerned, hopefully he should be able to answer that. So, and I'm going to go ahead and pop back into the room, and then we can get started. There we go. All right, here's my actual face. Hey everyone. And cool, I'm just going to go ahead and drag this back into Unity. I just kind of wanted to show you guys the full screen effect of it. And open up the chat. Perhaps, are you bringing a scene intro? For social VRs, are you bringing a scene into? Actually, we're just going to build our own social VR, VR pill. Just using Unity and just starting from scratch, really. So actually, let's just hop into that right now while people are joining. So first thing we're going to do is go ahead and start from blank Unity project. So here, let's just call this Photon Networking. Oh, and I guess the other thing I should mention is why am I using Photon as compared to Unity's built-in networking? And the primary reason for that is because Photon has actually it actually has like this free voice over IP plugin that you can use that like integrated with Photon itself, whereas Unity doesn't have that. So that's the primary reason. Otherwise, honestly, I would recommend using, like, whether it's Unreal or Unity, I would recommend probably using their built-in networking, just because Unity is going to be upgrading their stuff a lot quicker than Photon will be. They have a lot more resources at their disposal. So just something to keep in mind. But obviously, like, Unity's UNET doesn't have that voice over IP. So can't argue with that. So first thing I'm going to do is get all the plugins we need. Why build your own when there's already Janus, VR chat, high fidelity? So I mean, this is primarily educational. So this is to show you, like, say you're building a game that isn't Janus, VR chat, or high fidelity. How do you actually go about putting a social component into your game? Obviously, yeah, like if, and I think I definitely do, I'll touch on like some of those other the things you mentioned, like Janus and high fidelity and future streams, but this is primarily to just kind of get your feet wet. So yeah, and then so let me just go ahead and import all of the stuff we need. So we're going to need Cardboard SDK, which in case you don't know where to get that, you can get that literally if you Google Cardboard SDK for Unity. I wish they would just send you straight to the downloads, but yeah, you just have to make sure you go to download samples and then get the Unity package that they provide. And they also have like a demo scene in case you want to try that out. So that's where you can get that. And then for the other ones, we can actually go into the asset store and Photon. Oh, I guess the other thing I should mention about Photon is that Photon allows, in general, like has a bit more documentation than UNET, which is kind of surprising, in my opinion. But it is what it is. So, and I'm hoping that Unity like provides better documentation in the future. But just for now, Photon's just been around a bit longer. So let's go ahead and import our Photon package. Like all things with the asset store, if it's your first time getting it, it'll be an import button, or sorry, it'll be a download button. And then if you've played around with it before, it'll be an import button so that you can just like get it immediately. And so let's just go ahead and get this thing. So it's a bit big. And honestly, I think, yeah, it's just, they have a lot of stuff in their demo scenes is why it takes so long. And any day now. But yeah, I mean, I guess while we're waiting for this, I think one thing that I did, like when I'm talking about like the safe spaces in social VR, and I want to kind of bring this up throughout the stream, honestly. I'm like talking about basically what I saw in Allspace, which is basically a lot of like, especially like for the women that are like bold enough and brave enough to like try it out, because there's a vastly like male community, that a male enthusiast community that's like trying VR out. They tend to get like physically abused in these settings, which I mean, it seems really uncalled for. Like a lot of like sexual harassment. And to be honest, I'm not really sure like how to go about like solving that, because they're like pros and cons to a bunch of like the different ideas that people are talking about as far as solving it. And yeah, that's really the part I'm like curious on, like what people think about as far as like solving that. And yeah, let me know in the chat, because I'm really curious to know what people think on that issue. So yeah, now that we've gotten, just hopping back into the development side of things, now that we've gotten Photon imported, I'm actually going to go ahead and close the asset store for now. But the first thing that comes up is the pun wizard. Pun is such a, it is such a silly acronym, but I guess it works. Shame that. I think we have to shame that behavior, just like in real life. I guess so. Yeah, maybe it's just like us. I might make a video about this, but like I think it's might be just us like going in and like saying no to it. And yeah, hopefully if enough of us are there as allies, I really hope that we can shame it. Yeah. All right. I think I'll try to make a video on that just to kind of bring more awareness to it. And yeah, I'll definitely like call it out for sure. Yeah. So first thing that comes up is the pun wizard, and this wizard basically it asks you need to set up an account with Photon. You have to do the same thing with Unity's UNET. But like once you basically go ahead and set that up, and you go to, I mean, if you just Google, I'm like already logged in here, but if you just like Google like Photon Pun, that's the website you need to create an account on. I've actually already done that. So I like have my account and dashboard and all that good stuff. And once you do that, you need to go. This confused me a little bit the first time, but you actually have to go to the real time. Click on that. Uh, let's see, or sorry, no, go to dashboard real time instead of, even though it's called pun, you need to go to um, the real time one, and you need to go ahead and create a new real time app. And so the way that Photon and UNET now recently, this I don't think used to be the case in Unity 4, but they changed it in Unity 5, is they use something called CCU, which is, I believe, concurrent something users. I think it's just concurrent users. Oh yeah, concurrent users. Um, and so you're limited to 20 for the free packages, and that applies to their voice over IP as well as transferring data, which is what we're going to be doing. And I mean, for testing purposes like this, like 20 is more than enough. Unless you guys all decide to use my app ID within the next 2 hours, I'll actually I'm gonna create one now, but then I'm just gonna delete it afterwards, just to make sure like I don't saturate anything. Because when I was actually going through a bunch of tutorials, like people like commented out their application IDs, but for the purpose of this, I can't really do that right now. So yeah, so we're just gonna go ahead and create a new one. I'm gonna call this networking social VR. I don't want to give it a long description. We can leave the URL blank, and then just go ahead and create. I think any day now. Rather than making. Cool. So now that we have that, we just go ahead and copy this app ID that is associated with the specific app we're creating. And yeah, if you guys want to test it out within the next 2 hours, you're free to do that, but I will be deactivating a specific one, so recommend you create your own because it's free anyways. And just go ahead and copy that in here, and we just click Setup Project, and it's applied. And so what did that actually do? So if we go, so this is the package the Photon Unity Networking is what the package we imported from Pun, and within the resources folder, we've actually created a Photon server setting. Hey everyone, and so that basically lists a bunch of the settings that Photon requires basically to connect. So that's our app ID, protocol we're using, this auto join lobby setting, which is actually pretty important and didn't used to be there. Kind of threw me for a little loop when I was learning about Photon. And I think the region is probably the most important thing to change. Like if you're from Europe, keep it as Europe. I'm just going to go ahead and switch to US because I'm in California right now. And so yeah, so that's the server settings. There are a bunch of RPC here. From the tutorial I was learning from, they actually recommended deleting these because we're not going to be using any of them. So I'm just going to do that and just hit clear RPC list. If we have time, we'll get into this a bit more. Hopefully we'll have time. But yeah, I mean, if you guys have questions, also like keep them coming because I mean the whole reason I'm doing it as a live stream in the first place is really to make it interactive and get your questions out in a real-time fashion. Like, is man editing a pre-made experience, or I'm making it from scratch. This is actually this was just a demo that came with the plugin. So yeah, and let's see where we go. Where's that new? So I should have just started with a new scene. But yeah, we're gonna be starting from a new scene from scratch. So yeah, so that's all as far as settings are concerned. That's really all we need to do. And once we've done that, like I said, the Photon is actually pretty well documented. So we're just gonna kind of follow along with this tutorial that they put up there. I'll point out like some of the weird flaws and stuff. So the first thing we're gonna do is go ahead. Actually, the first thing that I want to do is, just for simplicity right now, I'm going to go ahead and, where's the cardboard main? Just drag in cardboard's main prefab and get rid of that camera. Just so that when I click run, we have a cardboard built in here. I can use, well, I guess there's nothing to see really right now. Let me fix that really quickly by adding a cube in the scene 0, 0. Move that around here. And so yeah, if I press Control, it's like tilting my head when I move my mouse, and then if I press Alt, that's like rotating my head around. So yeah, that's just like the simple cardboard integration right there. And then the next thing we want to do is just start writing very basic script. So let's call this so NetManager. So the reason I'm not calling it NetworkManager is just to make sure, like, Unity's like built-in one is called the NetworkManager. You do need to import, I believe, what is it? Using Unity Engine .networking. Yeah, you need the namespace of Unity Engine Networking. So if you're not in that namespace, it won't collide. But if you are, then probably better to keep your names distinct. And the thing, so let's go back into here. And so this is, let me talk a little bit about how networking works first, because just to keep this like down to the basics. So, and like this, I guess, goes to the reason why you need to use something like Photon, why you actually need to register with them in the first place. And so the reason for that is, so in general, networking happens like, I have my phone, I have my laptop, I want to connect the two devices, right? So now you have to ask the question of, how do these devices find out about each other? And so to answer that question, you basically you put a man in the middle there. It's basically a server sitting in the cloud, and that's specifically why they tell you like what region you want to go to. So that's where that server is going to be. So it's going to be in the US. And that middleman is basically both my phone and my computer are going to know where that middleman is, and then they're going to go ahead and ping that middleman and ask for to basically find each other. And so they need to provide a bit of information. So what that server up in the cloud that Photon's providing for us is basically you say that I want to join that server, and that's what the app ID is for. And then within that app ID space, you can create, you basically a lobby, and that lobby is connected to kind of a bunch of different rooms. So you can specify as many rooms as you want. So, and that's, think of that like if you're coming from like an MMORPG type of setting, it's like creating a party with a group of people to go and do some task, whatever that may be. For the purposes of what we're doing today, we're just gonna have one room. But like, so you basically you join the lobby and then you enter a room, whatever that room may be. So I mean, that's where all of the terminology that the API is using is going to be going over. And so just to kind of give you guys that frame of reference. Space holds reference to players, a lobby, and several rooms. Yeah, basically that's the right way of thinking about it, exactly. So the app ID that we created here is basically so that Photon knows that when my device connects to that server in the cloud, I'm sending that app ID, and it's like, oh, I'm associated with this particular server, and So now as a player, I'm connected to that, and then my lobbies and rooms. So is the same true for game objects? I guess what do you mean by game objects? Game objects that are local or game objects that are networked? Let me know what you're thinking about there. And so yeah. So with that in mind, we can actually now probably keep the questions rolling on that. If that overview makes sense. But that's just kind of the general gist of this, and it applies to like everything like VR, like general game programming as well as VR programming. So like networking. Oh, okay, yeah. So the same holds true for balls. It's the app ID is like device specific, and then so if I have like say a ball rolling, and I'm tracking its position um, on whatever the main host is. Then so that actually that'll if you connect it through a middleman, then that's exactly what'll happen. Actually, what I just realized is I probably forgot to tell you guys something super important, which thanks for bringing that up, and that is so when you create these rooms, the rooms basically it's like a one-time deal. So I connect to this middleman to find where my other players are, but at least this is the way that Unity implements it. I'm actually not sure if Photon implements it the same way. I think it does. But like once you find a room and like who's connected to it, you actually don't need to talk to that middleman anymore. You can actually kind of talk directly through what was it called? NAT, network address. No, I think it was NAT. It's through punch through basically. You basically know where in the world your other players are. So like say for example my phone is on the other side of the world and I have my PC here, they'll know where they are after talking to this middleman, and then they can talk directly to each other. So, but in order for that to happen, basically the first person that creates the room, he's called the host. Yeah, there we go. Wait, is that right? Oh wait, what is it? I'm totally blanking out on that acronym. Now I need to know. Network punch through. Oh yeah, not punch through. Yep, there we go. Cool. That's what it stands for. So the first person that connects to the room is basically called the host, and everyone else is like a client. And the host's responsibility, unlike the client's, depending on how you actually implement some of the stuff, is basically to make sure everyone stays in sync. So if I have a ball, or say player 2 shoots a bullet, that position is then tracked on this, or ideally, it's tracked on the server. Like the server knows the absolute position at all given times, and then sends that information out to everyone else who's connected. And that way, that one person that is declared as the host is basically guaranteeing that like when that bullet shoots player 3, that event happens and everyone's in sync for when that happens. Otherwise, if player 2 says, "Oh, I shot him," but like there's some network lag, and then player 3 doesn't see that you get shot, you could get out of sync really fast. Yep, there we go. You guys are on top of it. I like it. So that's the basics there. So now with all of that in mind, gotta make sure I explain everything. Otherwise I'm gonna confuse everyone. We can now actually get into some of the code and trust me, there's not actually that much. And Photon actually makes it really simple, which I appreciate. Unity actually makes it even simpler without, like, they have a bunch of objects that you don't need to code much for to get something started. But yeah, like I said, I wanted that voice over IP, so that's why I switched to Photon. So first thing I'm gonna do is actually go ahead, constant string version. We'll call this 1.0 version, and there we go. So all this is doing really is saying, let's connect to that server in the cloud, and we're going to use the settings that were defined. Where did they go? Actually, so if you go to Window, you can actually like see you can see where they are. Yeah, it really is like a requirement, which I was like, yeah, okay, I kind of have to do Photon. um, so once you do that, you're gonna have the Photon server settings, and once you go to Window, highlight server settings, it'll just find this particular file for you. And that file is what it means when using settings. So it's going to read that file and send all of that data over to the Photon server. And we're just giving it a version number just so it's like if you have multiple updates going on, it knows that, oh, I should only connect the 1.0s to the 1.0s, and I should connect the 2.0s to the 2.0s. Just to make sure everything's really in sync and like you don't have nasty bugs that come up from that. And so actually that's pretty much all we need to do with that. And where did that tutorial go? There we go. And then this is the matchmaking component of this. Is Photon provided view. Yeah, it's actually, since we're talking about VoIP, it was Converge. I believe it was Converge. So, in case you're wondering, no. Unity Voice? What was it called? Yeah, okay, there we go. So Converge actually has a quick tutorial, but I believe the package they use DF Voice plugin here. That's a paid for one. Yeah, it's $30. And I don't know if they actually go over like what servers they're using. Whereas Photon Voice, which is the plugin I'm going to be using, is free up to 20 users, 20 concurrent users, which, yeah, like I said, for this is more than enough. And okay, so we can get rid of update. And then what we're going to say is on void on, okay, what was it called? I'm going to actually go into, yeah, I'm going to go into here. So this is like one of their demo scripts that does a bit better of a job explaining or providing code on like what you need to do. But I have a bit of code here that I think is unnecessary. But the way like Photon really does its thing is it'll call a bunch of like predefined methods. So like on connected to master, on joined lobby, on joined room. And so we're just going to go ahead and actually copy some of those methods because that's the way that we actually get connected. So actually, I'm just going to copy all of these and then see which ones we don't want. So there we go. So we want the fail. We want fail to connect. There we go. So on connected to master is connecting to that Photon server. So basically what we're saying here is we just want to join a random room. And if there are no rooms to join, then it'll probably fail, at which point then we go ahead and create a room. And they're just saying 4 players, which is perfectly fine. On fail to connect, yeah, we're just logging it, and then on joined room is when we actually join the room. So that's all of the events that are really happening. And so we can actually probably just go ahead and test it and make sure that everything here is working. Come on. Let's just call it network. I cannot type today. That's always fun. I want to reset you, and of course that didn't reset. NetManager, and let's just go ahead and run it. So now, there we go. So all of those log errors that I was printing out, they're all written down here. So we have on connected to master. So that happened because we connected using the settings. So called on connected to master. Then we noticed that it couldn't join a room because there were no rooms to begin with. And then the last thing is we created a room which calls on joined room. So we know that we've actually connected to a Photon server and we've actually created a room. So that's perfect. So then let's go back into the tutorial, which is here. Here. And so yeah, so they have join room. So that's all the matchmaking stuff. So like I said, this is a little incomplete, so it's probably easier to like copy from the demo scripts. So yeah, as far as like creating rooms, that's that part. This is smoothing, which we're going to talk about. RPC, where is, okay, fine. I'm not going to provide that, which is fine. Let's just go ahead. Press pun decide which room is the most suited for a player. How big can these rooms be? So that actually happens when you create a room. So if we look at this specific method, and actually I might go to the tutorial because I think that explains it a bit better. So here we go. So when you create a room, so when you call it this create room method, you're basically saying, I'm going to be the host, I'm going to create this room, and I'm allowed to pass it in a bunch of parameters. So here specifically, so I think the name, so let's look at this. So the first one, I mean, it provides null, but you can provide like your own name. So for example, if I'm creating a host, and I like in the GUI, for example, if I have like a room, a way to type, which in Cardboard or other such mediums is actually kind of difficult. But say you have a means of typing, you can type in a room and then pass that as a parameter to the room name. And then you have room options, and then they give you a bunch of different options. So I can say like how many players there are. So if the room is full, then Photon is actually, when you join a random room, it's not going to assign you to that random room. So if I had 5 players, and then for the first 4 that connect are going to be all assigned to the first room, and then that 5th player is going to be, oops, there's no more rooms because that room is full. So I'm going to throw you into, you can create your own room, was kind of what happened with this script. And then the last parameter is the type of lobby, and let's see if they explain that here. So yeah, I guess okay. So we can take a look at that. If we call type lobby dot, so yeah, that's it. Interesting. Not sure what that last parameter is, but clearly they're just passing in null, and the other option seems to be default. So yeah, not entirely sure what that is. We could probably look that up in the documentation, but doesn't seem to be too important. So yeah, let me know if that answered your question with that. Cool. So with that set up, we're gonna actually go ahead and talk about avatars for a little bit. So avatars basically the way that people are gonna see us. So the way to actually do that, so normally when you create an object in Unity, you can have a prefab. So actually, I'm just gonna create a public. Let's call it a game object. Avatar prefab. So I'm gonna have a okay. Oh, caps lock is on. There we go. So we're gonna have avatar prefab. And so normally what we'll do is actually game object dot instantiate avatar prefab. Now, what this does is it'll, on whatever device we're running, it'll create that game object, but only whoever is viewing it. So like if I'm in Cardboard here, and if I call it game object instantiate, only I'd be able to see that. It's local to your own device. But what we want to do is actually, since it's our avatar, we want to spawn it across multiple devices. So the way we actually do that is instead we go to Photon Network. Yeah, Photon Network.instantiate. And this will actually spawn it across, or was it Photon Network? Please be Photon Network. Yeah, okay, yeah. It just doesn't have the parameters. And that will actually spawn it across all the connected devices in the room. So, so we have Photon Network.instantiate, there's the avatar prefab, and then we're just gonna, for now, we're just going to tell it to go to the center of our world. We'll have to pass a group. The group for this Photon View. And so that we can get a game object go equals Photon Network.instantiate. So that is pretty much what is going to happen when we instantiate locally, and then it's going to go and be spawned on a bunch of different objects. Our settings for a host, like game mode, for example, usually set on the room or on the host instance. They're probably usually set, I think with the room options, I'm not 100% sure if you can add your own custom stuff, but I'd imagine like game mode and stuff would be something like you could pass with that. And some of the networking stuff I've done in the past, you might pass it with the name. You basically, yeah, it's just, you got to send the metadata to tell like if I want to spawn, like if I'm creating like a mini party game of some kind, where like, or even like say Oculus Social, for example, or no, Altspace is probably better, where like each room has a different type. Like when you create that room entity, you just have to send some of the metadata, which I think is, I haven't played with that on in Photon, but I think it would be done through room options. So yeah, so there's the instantiate. And so obviously now we go to our network manager, and assuming I don't have compilers, which I do, can convert. Wait, oh, okay, yeah, sorry. Photon asks for a string name, and we're actually going to talk about that right now, is what that game object actually really needs. So first thing, actually, we're going to use the cube that we have right here. So that's set to 0, 0, which is fine. We'll view it here. So if we're going to be using Photon, the Photon Network.instantiate, a couple of things we need to do. So first is we need to assign it a Photon View. Oops, don't want to save that just yet. And the Photon View is basically, if you're familiar with Unity 4's networking, it's the same as the network view in there. If not, it's basically, what's the best way of describing it? It's basically the way that the local client, so like say my phone, for example, knows that the object that's spawned needs to be synced across the network in some fashion, and that is dictated specifically by like what components you observe. And it gives it an ID that then gets synced across the network. So I know that this cube that I spawned is actually associated with my phone as opposed to associated with my laptop. That's basically the idea of what a Photon View does. And then we also, for testing purposes, we're going to call Photon Transform View. Is that right? Is it Transform View? No. Photon, or maybe it was. Because that doesn't, Photon, yeah, I think it is Transform View. So we're going to go ahead, oh wait, oh, I don't even have to, okay, that's neat. I think we'll implement this anyways, but I didn't actually notice that this was the thing. I must have missed it. Drag that in. So apparently I can sync my views in a smooth fashion. We're going to disable the interpolate so you guys can see what it looks like without smoothing. And then we just kind of drag in. We're basically telling here we've created a script that, or we were given a script that I completely missed in prepping for this. That basically is going to sync our rotation. And so we tell the view that, okay, pay attention to this particular script because it's going to have variables and actions that we want to have happen and be synced across all connected networks. So that's what this thing is going to do. And if you notice, so before observe option was set to off, and now it's changed to unreliable unchanged. So let's just open that real quick. And so you have a few options. So it's reliable, unreliable, and unreliable unchanged. And unreliable unchanged is the most efficient because basically it's saying if none of the data here is changed, it's actually going to be changing a lot for us because we are our head movements shake a lot. But if it didn't, then like it would detect whenever some of the data changes and only send when that happens. But it's unreliable, so you're not guaranteed for it to get sent over the network. Most of the time, that data will go. Of course, if you want something like a fire, like an RPC call, to be synced, then you're probably going to want that to be reliable. So that's pretty much it for here. And then what we're gonna do is go ahead, create a prefabs folder. Create within it. So Photon requires that if you're creating a prefab that you want to be synced over the network, it requires that your prefab be located in the root of any folder called resources. And the reason for that is resources is Unity's way of basically saying if you have any file that you want to be read at runtime, then it needs to be located in a resources folder. And that's exactly why, that's the reason why they want you to put it within a resources folder of some kind in your hierarchy. So we did that. And notice it can be anywhere within it. So it can be under assets, it can be under prefabs, I can have a bunch of different things and then have resources. Doesn't really matter where it is as long as it's within a resources folder. So once we have that, we just need to first get rid of this cube. And then we are going to go ahead and where is it? Okay, there we go. Actually, I'm just gonna quickly rename this avatar for now and drag that in. Save our scene. Let's call it folder scenes networked scene. And we're actually, okay, this annoys me every time, is that cardboard has the skybox as it's a solid color, but I really like the skybox that they provide by default, so I always make sure to switch it. And then we're just gonna go ahead and go to build settings. Oh, okay. Seems like they've added a bunch of stuff. We're just gonna delete everything that they added. Just add in our open scene that we built. I'm actually gonna switch to Android just because that might take a while, but the reason for that is because I want to build onto my phone and then test between phone and the editor. Can you use Photon to instantiate prefabs that aren't read from a file at runtime? That's a good question. I want to say no. Like, I mean, the only way that I can, actually, you might be able to. So the only way that you would be able to bring in, like, say, a prefab that's not in a file at runtime, what I'm assuming is like you have an asset bundle that you build and put it on the cloud, and then you import that in over the network via the internet. But if you do that, you might still be able to get it within a resources folder. And in which case, if you do get it in a resources folder, then you might be actually, now that I think about it, as long as it's within your asset bundle, it's within a resources folder, and then you import it with a resources folder, I think you might be able to still do that. Yeah, exactly. They're using resources.load. I mean, they don't explicitly say it. I'm just kind of assuming that's the only reason why they would ask me to put it within a resources folder. So let's just go ahead here. Since we are an Android, since we're building for cardboard, make sure the default orientation set to landscape left. Use debug. Gotta change this to com FusionEd networking. This. We don't want virtual reality supported, otherwise it'll build for the Gear VR instead of for cardboard. And I think that's everything. Yeah. Go ahead and quick build and run. I like putting all my builds within a builds folder. Let's just call this test networking 1. And we can run that. We are going, okay, so we have to wait for that, and I'm going to show you guys on MobiZnen. Okay, so that's connected, and just wait for it to load. Yeah. I mean, obviously we don't have access to resources.load. Or like we don't have access to like what Photon's using, but it's basically resources.load. So if you like load in a game object at runtime, that's basically. So this is what I'm seeing within cardboard. And now let me go ahead and run. Get rid of this. Okay, cool. So you notice, let me minimize this. So you notice, so here's my cardboard view. We have 2 here. We have 2 cubes. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so like we have 2 cubes. And so yeah, so these are like independent, and like these respond over the network. But obviously they're not doing the rotation, and that's because we actually never hooked that up. Because the cardboard, so the cardboard SDK, which is this thing here, it is actually hooked up just to be independent and not networked. So we actually got to fix that. And where we're going to fix that is by creating something I like to call the copy script. The most ingenious name, right? And really the only thing we need to do here, okay, so the first thing we got to do, we're going to call this photon.monoBehavior. And it doesn't really add that much. It's basically a mono behavior, except we're making the assumption that whatever this script is attached to will have the Photon view that we added before, which we're going to. When would you choose to use one over the other, Dave? I'll let Dave answer that. So the only thing we need to do here is Photon View dot is mine, and yeah, no, is mine, and we're gonna say transform dot rotation equals cardboard SDK dot transform dot no what I can never remember head pose dot orientation. And so I like really simple script. All it's saying is updates called every frame, and Photon View is mine. All that's saying is the object that I instantiated, is that one was that created locally, or was that created because of someone else on the network? So when I call that photon, so when I call here, when I call photon.instantiate, it creates a cube locally, as well as it tells the other people to create a cube on my behalf. And so the is mine is saying, like, if I create it locally, then it is mine. I was the one that created it. So, and then if it is mine, we want to update our rotation. So what we're going to do here is go to prefabs. Not that prefabs. This prefabs. Go here, add the copy script. Such a clever name. And okay, yeah, cool. And so now if I press Alt, there we go. So you see, as I rotate, now my cube rotates, and we're gonna build it in right now so that when I rotate on my device, you'll see it rotate here. So all we have to do is actually literally just click build and run. Simpler for me to works in combination. You can have Photon View script on a prefab. Yeah, exactly. You can have the Photon View on a prefab. We just gotta get that to load. This is probably the slowest part about developing, although like the projects aren't that big, so not too much data going. Like those are relatively fast. Okay, cool. So now we have these guys. It creates them, and there we go. Hopefully this is within the camera view. So now as I rotate, it's rotating. Oh, I guess you can't see that I'm rotating here. So here we go. That's with cardboard. So if I rotate up, it rotates up. And if I rotate left, rotate right, do 8, figure 8, does all of it. But obviously, and I'm hoping it turns out this way in the stream, is it looks really laggy. And that's because it's just unreliable. So like some of the data packets are just missed. So we want to basically smooth that out. And let's actually see. We can write it ourselves, but I actually do want to see if I basically, they do rotate store. I'm just going to do lerp. So lerp basically says, I forget what it stands for, but basically if you've given 2 vectors and you're given a time step between 0 and 1, it'll basically figure out a new vector that is in between these 2 vectors. So and then so what we're doing here is we're lerping towards our endpoint. So we give a new rotation from say this device to my laptop. We find a new position, and then we're just going to lerp towards it. Is basically what is happening. And I have no idea if this is going to work, but we're going to find out, and if it doesn't, we're going to write it ourselves. That is my motto. Let's build that again. And yeah, I really wish they didn't add a lot of networking stuff to, or like a lot of assets to the asset store stuff that they gave us. because it does actually slow down the build process a little bit. Linear interp. Yeah, it's really derpy. It's like why was that the name? I don't know. You can tell I make sure to keep track of all of my acronyms. All right, there we go. Yeah, that looks smooth. Yeah. So now hopefully in the stream this looks a lot smoother. Up, and I did it again. There we go. So yeah. Now it is a little delayed. I'm not sure if it's gonna come out like that in the stream, and it might not because like in the mirror in and of itself is a little delayed. But for all practical purposes, and this is the beauty of networking, is or especially in VR, is like you're not going if it's like a second lag of my head movements. Since I'm not actually, I mean, it'll look fine for me. Like I'm not going to experience any lag here, but other people will experience maybe like a second of lag. That's not the end of the world because they don't see your head moving. Delayed on the stream too. Okay. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's again a little laggy, but like the whole point is that no one else is seeing my head movements. They're just showing up to someone else at a little time lag, and that's perfectly fine. So there's no worries as far as that's concerned. So yeah, so that's smoothing, and that's getting head rotations across. We can obviously, I think what I want to do is we'll probably, so yeah, we're about an hour in. Probably take a little break in case people want to catch up or come in or whatever. And then, or like ask any questions during that time. And afterwards, we'll talk about a little bit about voice over IP. And then, so I guess there's going to be a problem if you're building a reflex-based. Yes and no. If you're like this is like the struggle that like everyone in the like this isn't a VR problem. This is just a networking problem. There's always inherent lags. Like even if you're doing, say for example, League of Legends or World of Warcraft, like all of those have inherent lags in them. The way they get over that is a little bit of prediction. That helps. Like if I know that you're moving forward, I can guess you're gonna move forward. And then the other thing is like making sure that everything is synced on the server, like on one computer that basically tells everyone like this is the actual truth. Then like yeah, it sucks because like I shoot someone and then so like this is the inherent example here. It's like I shoot someone and then that person's like ducking behind a wall. So like I'm shooting here and then they're about to turn this wall. So the server knows like has what it's gonna call an absolute truth of whether or not that bullet as it goes like hits the person or not. And it might not look like it hit the person in one case. Like for one person it might not look like it. The other person it will. One person's going to be right and the other person who sees something incorrect. Granted, it'll be like hundreds of milliseconds level. They're probably going to get angry, but like it happens in relatively few cases that it's like not that big of a problem. Difference for not even considering you have to track 3 objects for each player. Not really. Yeah. I mean, in most like first-person shooters, for example, like you have bullets flying all over the place and they all need to be tracked, right? So like you're adding a constant number of things to be tracked, and obviously like on the grand scheme of things, yes, that does explode. Like 3 times more is 3 times more, but you can always add a more networking structure to try and get around it. As long as you're not exponentially increasing the number of things or like quadratically increasing the number of things, it should be fine. So yeah, so that's that. Let me actually throw up the app I wanted to show you guys on this little break. I actually have not tried this out yet, so we're gonna see how that goes. I need my IR controller. Oh yeah, also like let me know in the chat if you guys want to see like how to connect like say the Oculus to cardboard, because I do have my DK2 here that may or may not want love. I don't know. And we can do that just as easily. Sweet. Glad you're having a good time, Dave. Can you talk about Oculus Social SDK? Oh, okay. Yeah, this is something I figured I probably should bring up. And honestly, I haven't played with the Oculus Social SDK, so I have no idea. But like, the thing that really annoys me, so like, obviously what I'm showing you guys here today is pretty generic. Like, it'll work if you're building for the Vive. It'll work if you're building for Oculus with the gear or cardboard. If you look at project, I'm not sure what the limitation, honestly, for Project Cars is. Like, if you don't know, Project Cars is basically, they ran into the same limitation where they wanted to develop for the Vive as well as Oculus, but Oculus, their networking is divided. So Oculus players can only play with Oculus, Vive players, or not Vive, Steam players can only play with Steam. So if you purchase it through Steam, you can play with the Steam community. If you purchase it through Oculus, you can play with the Oculus community. And to be honest, like, I mean, what I've showed you here does not do that. I don't know if it was the Oculus Social SDK. I don't know where, like, what the keys were, or like what the issue is. But I think that's a little frustrating because like networking is supposed to open up to connect you to any possible device. So the fact that there's some limitation somewhere that's like causing them to have to break up the community, yeah, I definitely want to try Project Cars. I have a Vive at home that I really want to try it with, but like, and yeah, if you purchase it through Stream, I noticed it's on Humble Bundle right now, so you can get it for a $10 discount through Steam, which is nice. But that aside, the thing is like, yeah, I'm still not. Maybe it was because they used the Oculus Social SDK. I don't know, but it's still, for me, I don't like it just because like. If it is Oculus Social SDK, which is a guess, I don't actually know if that's true. If it is though, like that seems pretty limiting. That like it forces you to divide your community between Oculus and Steam, and that sucks. That really does suck. Yeah, let me know your thoughts on that. I think that's just my opinion. And it causes me to rant sometimes. That's just life with this Oculus Social SDK, I guess. Yeah. And I actually, normally for my demos that I do, I actually usually choose to do something that fits with the stream. Today I actually chose not to do a social demo. And the reason for that is kind of like what I alluded to at the beginning. Alt space in general, you never know what behavior you're going to find, which is a little concerning at times. What's happening in here? Okay, cool. And so like, yeah, I'm not sure if I want to bring that on the stream. Can also write. Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it's also like worrying for like the Oculus store, right? Like, and this is like the thing that Oculus is facing right now. Yeah, I need to press A here. Cool. Headphones in. Alright. So, this is Lost, which if you have a Rift or DK2, recommend getting it as soon as possible because if they say on the store it's free for a limited time. This is actually my first time in here. I noticed, I had it running in the background just to check the time on it yesterday. Hello, bug. I'm getting closer to you. That's cool. Can I like make this bigger for you guys? Is that a thing that happens? That I can do? Where's my mouse? Oh, okay. I'm just gonna leave it that size for now. It's kind of small, probably a little blurry on the stream, but you can hear the audio, which is nice. Wow, this is a lot cooler than I thought it was. They did a nice job with the graphics in here. And yeah, like I said, it's relatively short. And yeah, I would normally do a social VR thing, but yeah, I don't. For this particular stream, I'm like, there's just too many weird. That was good positional audio. For this particular stream, didn't want to bring that in because. Wow, I'm really digging their positional audio. So you can definitely. Where's the beeping? Oh. That looks like a raptor. A trapped raptor. Nope, not a raptor. Not a raptor. Boop. Boop. What are you doing, buddy? What are you doing, buddy? Yeah, that's right. I kind of stood up. Not really. It's like kind of cute, but not really. But yeah, no, I'm really digging this environment. I didn't think it was gonna look this good. This is just a DK2. Well, I mean, I don't know how it's gonna look in a CV1. But maybe I'll try out revive pack. See how to revive. Flat raw. Little doggy. That's so cool. Uh-oh. I can't tell if that's excited or he's about to explode. One or the other. Oh wow, they actually take the ground on me. Whoa. That sense of scale is so cool. Oh, it's a fan. Wait, what? Whoa. Okay. Okay. It's not a dog, it's a hand. How you doing? Errol. Oh, that was so cool. That was so cool. I don't know any of these names. I don't know any of these names, I don't think. Wow, that was nicely done. That was really nicely done. Oh wait, really? Oh, that's sick. Glad that the positional audio works really well with for the stream. Talking feature request for yeah, Trevor. I actually am. I'm really interested to hear what you guys think of like what I should do in the future. I was honestly go ahead and close this. There we go. And check this out. Not entirely sure what I wanted to do next week. Sure. Music reminds me of. Man, Abdo, you know that I'm horrible with the with video game references, but well, apparently it's like Ori and the Blind Forest. Now I know. Go ahead and close that. Grab my phone. Ori and the Blind Forest. I'll look that up after the stream because now I'm curious. Cool. Unplug the right thing. Plug my phone back in. Got that headset over here. It's a Trello board. Wait, what is it? Trello board as something to build? Wait, why are my cables all wound up? Snow White. That's a good question. And something that I'm like really, really looking forward to. Is something. I mean, who's working on it? Wow, I can't believe I'm blanking out on his name. Uh, what is his name? Uh, the dude that did Transformers. Steve. Steve. This is how bad I am with movies. It's the guy that did Transformers and Jurassic Park, but I can't remember his name for the life of me right now. It's too much pressure. Too much pressure. uh, oh, Trello. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, you can definitely reach out to us on Twitter or Facebook and post stuff that you'd like to see. Um, Yeah, definitely let me know because I mean, as far as what I was planning currently for next week was just kind of a blank. I was just gonna call it VR office hours, which is kind of what I wanted these streams to become, and I think today it's actually it feels like that a little bit, where people just like come here. If they're working on projects, they can talk with others in the community about them, or like learn from like what I'm doing on the stream. Um, but if you guys have other topics you want to see, uh, yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'll create a Trello board. That sounds like a good idea. Let's just see feature asynchronous. Ah, yes, asynchronous multiplayer is something I really want to go for. Um, that's actually like, and before we get into it, because the voice over IP doesn't take that long. But like asynchronous multiplayer. So the prime example that I think most people come up with is Ruckus Ridge, and the way I imagine asynchronous multiplayer is with um, you have one person in a headset and a bunch of people on the couch. Ideally, and this is our been Abdos and I pet project before we even started these streams, was it's called Navi. Let me see, I can pull up a link to that real fast. Shameless self promotion. Um, there we go. Basically, turns your phone into a controller for VR, but also we added the feature where you can like sort of mirror what's going on to people on their phones. Spielberg, thank you. I totally. I don't know how I forgot the name. It was bad. It was bad. But yeah, Spielberg is creating supposedly a feature-length movie for VR. So I'm looking forward to that because I think that'll be really cool. Um, but yeah, this is Navi. You can kind of stream stuff to people who connect their devices over Wi-Fi. So you can do this for asynchronous gameplay. Might do a future stream on this because this is my pet baby. It's all open source, so playing around. I'm putting in an update for it. Should be out hopefully by end of the next week. Oops. Why is my tummy crawling? Cool. So we have smooth motion. We have head rotation being tracked. Fuse Minister. That's funny. One of my friends called me Professor Fuse Man, which I thought was very funny. Wait, not Minister, Meister. Same thing. Awesome. So let's add the voice over IP. And there is actually a little bug I noticed with it, but it'll work. I see you, Brian. Cool. So for the, I mean, yeah, keep firing questions. I'll keep looking at them for sure. PC to make selections in the VR experience similar to the way that you can select songs. Oh yeah, yeah. I think we might go over dual mirroring at some point, or it's not dual mirroring, different mirroring. It's actually not that hard, but definitely something probably to think about. Awesome. So for cool. Let's actually first things first. Gotta go back into the asset store and get the Photon voice. Photon voice. There we go. So it's called the plugin's called Photon voice. It's free. We can download / import that in. Pretty straightforward. Takes a little bit, and they have a bunch of different demos in there, and yeah. So, El Lofro? Lofro? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. How's it going? Welcome to the stream. And yeah, we just started working on voice over IP, or the basics of it anyways. Yeah, this is a big plugin. I don't know what, I think their demo scene is a little too big in my opinion, but it looks nice. That's for sure. But any day now we should get that in. And Photon voice compressed to DF voice. I know that was. I don't. So I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. So if we, while we're waiting for it, I can bring it up again. Unity networking. Was it converge? Come on, converge. Yeah, there we go. So no, this is. Where's the 15 minutes one? No, I can't. Of course, now I can't find it. When I want to find it, I can't find it. There we go. So Converge has this tutorial on like how to add it with DF voice in 15 minutes. They do use Photon. Obviously, the one thing is that Photon for 20 concurrent users is free, which is why I'm using it in the stream today. Plus, it's built by Photon, so it's easier to use. But this thing is $30. I haven't tried DF voice. I'd imagine they work similarly. But I actually don't know as far as like the primary differences. Nice. That's a win on my book. I'm sweet. Cool. Awesome. So now that I think we are now imported, we need to go to Window. We need to go to server settings. And because now that we've implemented or brought in Photon Voice, we can go ahead and it gives us an app ID. So we need to create something for that as well. Where did I go? Photon Voice. Oh, I need to go to the dashboard. Where's the dashboard? Sweet. Okay, so we just go to your dashboard, go to Voice, click on that, and for some reason their website's really slow today. I don't know why. Like I said, this is a test voice. I'm going to be deactivating these after the stream. Live stream, voice test, and I have no idea what the URL is for. But you can add a URL, and it takes a little bit for them to create it. There we go. And we just copy the app ID they give us into the voice app ID. And that's pretty much all we need to do as far as settings are concerned. Let's go ahead and go to here. Where's the code part? Right. So let's actually just quickly read through this. Just so that I remember to actually do everything. If we would follow you and use your app ID, that means that when you test run your readable. Yes, that is exactly what it means. If you've been following along exactly and implementing it the way you go, so whenever I run it, you should also spawn into my world. And yeah, that's obviously why a lot of people hide their app IDs, but I don't really care. Well, one, they hide it because they pay for it, right? The other thing is just the fact that people can connect that you may not want to connect. But in this case, I don't really care, which is great. Pun-related settings, that's fine. That's all fine. Cool. So this is the stuff we want. Photon View, Photon Voice Recorder. Sweet. So we're gonna go back into Unity. We're gonna go to our little cube dude. I'm going to add Photon Voice Recorder. Actually, if any of you guys can implement this and connect to me, I would be so happy to have you guys on the stream. No joke. I, I think that would like make my day. Sweet. So basically, when we added the voice recorder, what that's doing is it's just recording our voice, and then for our avatar, we get the positional audio as well. I believe. Oh, they put it as a 2D. You can actually make it a 3D. You can change this audio source to make it a fully 3D object, and then you would know actually like where people are talking to from. Or you can just have it like a global godlike voice. Got here. Womp womp. Maybe next time, maybe next time. Yeah, sweet. We're actually going to disable that, and I'll tell you guys why in just a minute. Or actually, no, I'll tell you now. So, obviously, this voice recorder, because we're instantiating this object on multiple, you'll have copies of it in your own scene. You only want one of them to actually be recording your voice, right? So that is the reason why we need to disable it and then only enable it if it's actually us, which we fortunately, we don't need this one. Fortunately, we don't need this update every time. We can just do it. I mean, that's fine. We'll do it here. Probably we ideally should make a new script, but it's such a small change that it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this. Called get component. This is Photon voice. Photon. What is it called? Photon. Wait, why is it not here? Photon voice recorder. It should be there. That's odd. Interesting. Wait, that's what it's called, right? Photon voice recorder. Oh, that would explain it. Where is it? Oh, did I just close that script? Awkward. Open that up again. Where am I missing? Wait, no. Let me comment this out. Comment that out, and see. Okay, so no errors there. This dot enabled equals true. Cool. And that. Okay. Now that should do it. And now I'm going to share with you guys a little secret. And this is the bug. Oh, this is arguably a bug in. So those scripts are within my own project, so it seems to be working fine now. I don't know. Unity, I guess, which is being slow or something. But yeah, here's the little secret that. Let's see if I can remember it. Otherwise, I have to go find it again. I think it was Photon Voice. Photon Voice Network dot client bar temp. All right. If you do not have this line in your network manager start, or like before you connect to the network, your voice over IP does not work. And this is honestly, I think, an inherent bug. And it took me too many hours to figure out why I was not getting voice over IP. And I mean, this is just calling some, I don't even know what it's doing. I think like this just kind of just sets up like your voice client and does some like static code. Yeah, because it is a static variable. It runs some static code internally that basically sets it up. And if you do not have this, it will not work. The only reason I found that out was I was going through the demo scripts. I noticed if I like enabled the GUI, then the voice worked. If I disabled the GUI, didn't work. And then I started commenting out a bunch of code to figure out what line was solely responsible for activating the network. And it turns out it's this. So there you have it. And this is not documented at all. So I'm after the stream, when I put up my timestamps, I'm going to highlight this specific part and make sure people come to this place in case you come up with bugs. Because this took me way too long to figure out. But yeah, that should be that. And hopefully, assuming I did everything right, what? Let's see. The app ID, I'll just leave it. Which one? Here, let me do this. This is voice. So the voice one is that, and let's go ahead. And nope, not what I wanted. Real time. I don't know why their servers are so slow today. This is interesting. And then this is the one. Yeah, this is the one we're using. And then the real time is this. So there we go. And let's build and test it out. Build settings, build and run. This is, we'll call this 2, and then run it. So yeah, assuming I don't have any bugs, which it is likely I have bugs. Assuming I don't have any bugs, let me know in the chat what you guys want to go over next. We do have like, I'm down to chill and talk for 30 minutes. Like I have time until like 12, which is I keep the streams usually about 2 hours. If you're new to the stream, but this is the part where we can be as flexible as you want and see what you guys want to see. So yeah, and still building. I guess I didn't. Those somehow decided to go to my other monitor, which is not getting recorded, but there you go. And yeah, the build process got a lot longer because of the voice over IP stuff. Okay, so I have it on. Reconnect. Go. That's connected. And assuming I didn't mess anything up. There we go. All right. I'm just so that you guys don't get the echo. I'm gonna move outside, just to prove it. All right. So hopefully you guys can hear me. I think you should be able to. As you can see now, it's networked wirelessly, and I'm seeing it through a glass window. I think it's moving. You can see it in the scene view. And then yeah, we have voice over IP. And yeah, okay. I don't know why I left. But you get the idea. I'm gonna cancel it because otherwise you guys are gonna get a lot of echo. How to control Oculus app on at least 6 different sampling phones at a time. If you can yeah, basically what I just did. If you can hear this, then it's working. Cool. Oh, Yeah, that stream. Let's see. Hold on. What do you want to be able to accomplish for the online VR community? Honestly, for online VR community, I mean, like that's kind of the reason why I'm doing these streams in the first place. Is I want there to be a bunch of developers, designers, artists come together at a certain time, um, and in real time they're able to like collaborate and work together on projects. That's what I want. That's what we're trying to build with FusionEd right now. Um, and hopefully that's useful for people. I mean, I think the biggest problem that VR has right now is content. Um, and like it sucks like that they're like I was kind of ranting about a little earlier with Project Cars. It's really divided. You have the exclusivity problems. You have walled gardens. You have a bunch of like for cardboard. Like there's no good way to actually find content. FusionNet, uh, FusionEd actually. Oh, I think the links to our Facebook page are in the description. But that's what we're calling it for now. Um, and yeah, it's just like this exclusivity and just like the VR community right now is really divided, and I kind of want to bring that all together because I think that's really the way I want VR to succeed is like as a tight knit community that's just amazing, and it really is amazing already. Um, like I mean, what was it about 6 months ago when like our Oculus was a lot tamer than it is now. And um, yeah, like indie devs were getting like the recognition they like and getting a ton of support. Myself included with the Navi project, I was posting. I got a lot of support from that community that like propelled me to like continue with Navi, continue with this. Um, it's definitely really exciting like the way that the community supports each other, but it's also getting a little segregated in parts, and I kind of do want to fix that. Um, yeah, that was a long-winded explanation of like what I envision for this online VR community, but hope that's useful of kind of what we're trying to achieve. Um, Also, Dave, let me know if you want to test out what you've built, and then also I'll run it here locally and see if we can actually talk on the stream because I think that would be so cool. Um, let's see. Uh, Trying to figure out how to synchronize a bunch of headsets together. Um, and I know how to control Oculus app on at least 6 different Samsung phones at the same time. Um, for that, so I guess that's assuming. So Riley, I'm assuming you're like have like a 360 video player, uh, and you want like them to all be playing in sync, like at the same timestamp. Um, yeah, for that, you can use Photon for that. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to be building a 360 video player right now, but the only thing you need to synchronize is when everyone hits play, um, and then just kind of making sure like the timings are in line, um, and like by in sync, I'm like talking less than a second. I don't know if you want to like on the dot, which is kind of hard to do, but like within like a few hundred milliseconds, I think. Yeah, you can use Photon for that. You can use. I'd honestly probably even when you use Photon for that, I would use Unity's built-in networking would probably be the best way to do it, especially if you're on a LAN. Um, Let me know if that answers it. I think I got it working. All right, let's try it out. Let's try it out. I'm super pumped. Is this? Let's see. Let's see. All right. There. I'm spawned. Uh, let's see if I get someone else spawning in. That would be so dope. Oh, we got someone else. We got someone else. And I heard myself echo. But
Can you hear me?
nice. Yeah, I can hear you. This is so cool. This is so cool.
Nice. My cube should be offset a little bit.
That's fine, but like the
If
fact
you
that we're
look
getting
around, you
like,
should see the cube somewhere.
oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. That's so cool. Yeah, I'm rotating my head right now. That's sick. Sorry, who do we have? James? Yeah, James,
And
awesome
that's
man.
a wife.
That's what?
That's a wife you see there.
Oh, no way. Is this on Google Cardboard right now?
Yeah.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, I'm actually. Oh, I could con I could connect here, but I'm on my phone also. But I would probably get a lot of echo that we don't want to hear.
No, it's not Google Cardboard. It's a wife.
Oh, very cool, very cool. So yeah, I mean, you could even add hand controllers in, but I mean, they're not going to show up on my screen. But uh, dude, this is so sick. I'm glad you got it working. This is this is exactly kind of what I wanted with these
Yeah, I
streams,
was
man.
thinking about how to do that.
Yeah. Is there since you're in the hot seat right now, um, what's your background like? I'm curious, like to be able to get this working. Oh, do we have him still?
I'm a software developer, but nothing VR related. And it's really strange. I think I can't hear your voice through the system, but only through the YouTube video.
Oh, interesting. That might be because my
That's why
microphone's
I
being
am lagging
used.
so much behind.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that might be my microphone, question mark? The fact that like I'm using it for the stream as well as um, attempting to use it for the Unity project. Um, I don't, I could, let's see, how could I fix that? I guess I could change the microphone that I use, but with some
Yeah,
custom code.
possibly.
Um, but just, yeah, I mean, yeah, I could turn off the stream and then test it out, but I don't think other people would want that. Are you in the US or in Europe or some other region that I don't know?
Yeah, no problem. It's cool. I really like what you're doing here.
Appreciate it, man.
Germany.
Germany, nice. Okay. Uh, are you just out of curiosity? Are you connected to the in the Photon server settings? Are you connected to the US server or are you connected to the European server? No. I'll wait for the response because clearly my microphone is struggle busing.
No, to the US server.
Gotcha. If you want to try it out, well, yeah, no, I don't think it'll work with the European server if you set it that way. Um, but still, this is legit. And yeah, like I'm really excited that it's like helping you out, like getting started with creating something like this. This is like this is the whole cool part about social VR is like being able to like talk to someone like on completely different countries. Like that's so legit. Actually, so I don't know if in the stream, I guess this in the stream some people see this red line. I'm actually not sure where that's coming from.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's so easy to set up.
Yeah, it really is, and that's kind of what I want to show with these streams. Really is how easy it is. Like, I mean, obviously you have a software development background, and I want to get it to the point where like even if you're coming from a design background and art background, like it's pretty easy, even potentially with no coding, to get something set up. And that's what I'm super excited about. Like this is really awesome. I appreciate that you took the time to actually build something.
You're welcome. Not a problem. Enjoyed it.
Awesome. Sweet. Hopefully, I think some other people are trying to catch up to where you are. So maybe we can get a nice conversation going on with multiple people because that would be really cool too. And I'm actually, yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah, I mean, there are 18 slots open, right?
In the oh wait, what did I? Okay, now I have to check. How many people did I put? There are 18 slots, but I think yeah, I did set the room to 4. I could change that actually.
Oh
So,
no, you set the room to only be for 4 people.
yeah. Oh well. That could. I believe, Dave. I believe you can get it. Sick, 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 sick. Wait. So are you using Steam VR for the head rotation?
You don't need to remember, Dave. You can go back in the history
Oh, that's true.
of
You
the
can.
stream.
That is true. These are recorded, so you can go back and.
Yes, yes.
Okay, sick. Yeah. Um.
I just
So. Oh,
did find game objects and then took the rotation of the head.
perfect. Perfect. Yeah. That's so cool that you can use Steam. So for those on the stream, you can use Steam VR as well as Cardboard as well as Oculus. Easy. You just have to change the script slightly, but like I get the data and it works great. Um, sweet. I was gonna ask a question. Well, since you're the first one to get it working, and maybe more people will get it working.
I also tried putting in the positional tracking, but it somehow errored on me.
I think it's because I'm not collecting the positional tracking. That's actually probably my bad. But like yeah, so I was saying, since you're the first person to connect, and hopefully other people connect also, um, I'm curious, like what other topics would you like to see on the stream, and future streams, I should say.
Ah, now you're putting me on the spot.
Yes, I am.
The thing I'm most struggling with at the moment when playing around, I'm playing around with VR is interaction. So picking up objects. Last week, for example, I had a problem where I wanted to just rotate a bar I had and just rotate the bar around its center. And I somehow had to get the rotation from the controller just in this one direction and project it on the bar that was static in the room. And I really couldn't figure it out. So things like that would be interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, like if you like run across those things and like haven't, I'm assuming you have solved it by now, but if you haven't solved something like that, um, definitely like like in future streams, like I do want to keep it interactive like that. So like if you have problems, like even if they don't really pertain to whatever we're going over, I'm totally down to like talk about them and see if I can't solve it, like hopefully maybe someone else in the stream can. Um, so let's see. August is trying to connect, but Unity can't find the microphone. Um, and I'm assuming you definitely know that you have a microphone connected. Let's see. Um, so if I go here to the audio source prefab, it says if a microphone device is connected, audio will be recorded and transmitted to all other joined players. In case multiple recording devices are available, the one to be used is Photon voice recorder microphone device. Um,
It shouldn't be
maybe,
necessary. It
yeah,
just
it really.
uses the default recording device on a PC. I don't know about the cardboard though.
Um, I mean, I'm assuming he's running off his laptop, but do I need to give Unity authorization? Yeah, I don't think you need to give authorization. Um, it's interesting. Let's see if we can Google that. Unity microphone not detected. Interesting. So, are you running Windows or Mac? That's the first thing that comes up. Let's do with permission without being able to. You have to ask user permission. This okay. So then this does not apply to you. You have 3 microphones connected. Maybe it's using one set to default. It's not detecting. Here. Let's go ahead and let's see if August can follow along, and then we'll test and see how many microphones he has. We're just gonna create a quick. Oops, sorry, I had to. Yeah, I had to cancel unnecessarily. Let me see if I can reconnect. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. I accidentally mishit play. And then here, for. So we're just gonna do a quick for each on microphone dot devices question mark for mic in microphone dot devices mic dot name. Nope. Let's just print out how many. Oops, not Microsoft. Microphone dot devices dot length. Let's just print out how many mics are connected. So for me, it should be 2. Maybe for you, maybe for August, it's we need to create empty, add test mic over there, and then hit run. Yeah. So for me, prints out 2. In the console log, August, let me know. So it's just like create a really simple script, and in start, put debug.log error, and then just do microphone.devices.length. Let me know. Yeah, when I dug, it had 0. Okay, so that's the problem. Now the question is why one of those 3 mics is not working. And that's the interesting problem. Let's see if we can find anything as far as what is the username for the guy in the chat with you. Let's see. Looks like it's James Travis. He was able to connect. And let's see if we can find out how to get August in here. Unity not detecting microphones. There's something hardware related on my. I don't want to. I mean, like, if I mean, other people can speak up as well if they have other issues. But like, otherwise, like, as far as like what I was planning to cover for the stream, like this is pretty much it. People keep firing away at other questions that they want. I'm happy to go over those as well. But like, yeah, this is the interactive part. So you spoke up, so you get your questions answered. Let's see. Check. This is actually kind of more along the lines of like what I wanted to do with these streams in the first place. And where to start with the PC GUI control, like audio shield. Click edit. Oh yeah, okay. I'll answer that really fast. It's for PC GUI control. You're gonna. So what you want to do is you're going to. I'm just gonna close this connection real fast. You're going to. So you'll have your VR camera, and then you can also create a new camera here, And if you go to, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? No. Wait, where'd it go? Wait a second. Should have been able to select the eye. Is it on this camera? They remove it? Because that seems strange. Why would they remove that? Unity camera eye. I don't know what to draw different things. Where is it? Wow, did they really remove this? That's so strange. Let's see. Let me go to YouTube then, because I know Ruckus Ridge had a video on how to do that, and this is the way I would recommend, but I need to figure out foreign VR. Really? Foreign VR. These are the guys, but I need their YouTube channel. Steam VR might have it. There we go. This is this. There we go.
Okay, hi guys. So this is Jacob from Foreign VR. On your TV or monitor, we use that for a game GUI and a top-down view for couch players because we're using a local multiplayer system. So what we're going to do here is add two cameras. The first one I'm going to put near the origin. That's my virtual reality camera. And then I'm going to add...
There we go. So there's the full screen version of it, and you can kind of find it in the similar way I did. But like basically what you're going to do,
a second one, and that's going to be like your top-down GUI camera
the target eye
is just going
really
to show up on the monitor, not inside of the virtual reality headset.
So you just gotta
so this variable target eye is what I'm setting, and you get that through the build settings, player settings, by doing virtual reality supported. So you got to make sure that's on enabled first, and then when that's true and that's enabled, you're going to get a little flag for target eye, and you can set that to be none on your top-down, and then make sure it's still on both for the virtual reality. And remember, this is for Oculus Rift. If you have Vive and you're trying to develop for Vive, there's a different set of procedures you do for that, and I can go over those in the future. So I'm using a head here just to show the orientation in real time. And then I've written this script already. It's a dual camera class, and we've just got a public pointer to my top-down, which is one.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. But that's the basics of that. And I completely forgot that you have to have virtual reality supported. Yeah, here is the link for that. Good call on the link. This would work for the Vive, but he answered that. Yep, he answered the Vive. So, well, so this will, in Unity 5.4, I believe, Vive is getting virtual reality supported natively, and then this should work. For some scripts, yeah, I can. Let me go ahead and do that. So this is what I did for the copy script. This is what I added, and then for the voice recorder, this is the line I added just to the NetManager. So yeah. So I mean, if you get Trevor, if you get the beta for the Vive, for the 5.4 beta, which I think is coming out of beta soon-ish. Then you can just go ahead and I think do exactly what he showed. The prefabs in the editor, yeah. Prefabs, resources, avatar. Let me know. I know my face is probably covering up some parts of this. Yeah, and let me know. I guess goodness in there for physics. So yeah, I can keep scrolling through this. Photon voice speaker, and then I've disabled voice on Photon. Yeah, it looks the same. Yeah, I think it's really strange. It's not picking up your mic. Maybe some of the drivers aren't installed or something. Didn't find anything on a quick Google. I don't know if anyone else, like, it was obviously, I'll check if the user speaks to microphone. Microphone detected in Unity devices. Detects the connect mic. I just started connect dev again. Oh, I'm actually going to run this just in case anyone else thinks. Oops. And sweet. Oh, you're still connected. Nice. Let's see, where's that extra camera I added? This guy. Delete that. And yeah. Sorry, I made myself see. Yeah, I think, yeah, for the once with the native support, the whatever he showed should work. Any luck, August? I can keep looking. Probably wrap up the stream in a couple more minutes. Yeah. We'll see if we can try and get it fixed by then. Because I don't want it to go too long. Like I said, I try to keep these about 2 hours, but I'm just really surprised that you have 3. Looks like Unity needs permissions. Okay, so then we can, I've never actually had to deal with the permissions, but we can add them. Microphone, Unity, permissions. Request authorization to use webcam or microphone. Oh wait, this is for the web player. This is maybe activating somewhere because I've got to set. There we go. There we go. Nice. All right, let's see if we can get August in the stream. It's interesting it usually defaults to PC. Maybe it for some reason decides to default to web for whatever reason. Well, let's see. Let's see. And let's see if make sure this is active. Yeah, this is active. Well, let me reset this so that I can get rid of these errors. Whoops. There we go. There we go. PC standalone build enabled. I have to install that. Oh, right, yeah. And in Unity install, yeah, you do have to request those different things. All right. So I'll tell you this. I'm going to make. I'll leave this so that you can actually making sure it would be. What am I saying? I'm gonna make sure my Unity editor is running for the next like 15-20 minutes while you get that installed. But I'm gonna end the stream here. You can keep chatting in the chat. It'll stay open like that. But and then I'll still be around like answering stuff typing wise. But hope you guys enjoyed. This was super fun to like actually be able to talk to like one of you guys on the actual stream. So that was really sick. And yeah, if you want to like stay tuned to make sure you like get updated for like when we actually post the next event, like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, or just subscribe to the channel because yeah, that's awesome too. yeah, glad you guys enjoyed. But yeah, that's it for me. It's been FuseMan. I'm signing out, and yeah, super glad that this worked out really, really, really well. Cool. Later, guys.